Welcome one and all. Step right up and get your tickets for another moment in gaming history.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, or if you're new here, welcome officially to the channel. This is a series where I go into various different moments in video game history, and today I want to talk about another arcade game. One that's come up in popularity again due to a recent purchase by Atari, and that's Berzerk. This isn't just a big deal due to it being a popular game on a home console, it was also the first in video games in a few ways. So, if you have some time, grab a snack, maybe a drink, and sit back for a few minutes while we go into the history of Berzerk. Released in 1980, Berzerk was an omnidirectional shooter designed by Alan McNeil. In the game, the player controls a green stick man that pops in on the left of the screen. The player could then use the joystick and a firing button to move and fire a laser-like weapon. This all happens in a simple maze-like dungeon. Players can be killed a few ways. One, by running into a robot exploding, getting electrocuted by the walls of the maze itself, or getting touched by Evil Otto himself. Otto was primarily used to accelerate the pace of the game. This kept tension high as he was unkillable by the player and could pass through walls. He also moves faster as long as you're moving up and down. However, the trick is if you move side to side, he moves at the same pace as the player. In fact, Evil Otto was actually named after a real person, Dave Otto, the security chief at McNeil's employer, Dave Nutting Associates. According to him, Otto would often smile while chewing you out. He would also lock McNeil and his fellow employees out of the building to enforce a noon-hour lunch, as well as piping music into every room. Huh. No wonder he's the main villain. In addition to worrying about Otto, the player actually has to deal with robots in each maze room in a certain amount of time and get out the door on the far side of the maze. This was a very popular game at the time, selling around 50,000 units, which was huge. And it's easy to see why, as it offered several advancements over other games at the time. Some of these advancements included actual voice synthesis. Yeah, this is one of the very earliest examples of this in game history. As you were fighting the robots, they would say things like, "Destroy the intruder," "The humanoid must not escape," and if you escaped without killing all the robots, they would even mock you, like saying things like, "Chicken, fight like a robot." Yeah, I know, I'm using a cheesy robot voice, so sue me.
Kill the intruder. Destroy the intruder alert, intruder alert. The humanoid must not escape.
This wasn't the only thing the game did that was new though. It even had a rudimentary AI, which could be exploited by the player, leading to the robots actually attacking and killing each other. As the player progressed, more types of these robots would show up. First would be yellow, which couldn't fire, red, which could fire 1 bullet, then white, which could fire 2, green that could fire 3, and so on and so forth. This slow increase in challenge, along with being able to get the robots to destroy each other, gave the game a dynamic that very few games had at the time. This, with the added challenge of Evil Otto, made it a smash hit, one that genuinely terrified some players. It was made all the more nerve-wracking by the fact that each room was randomly generated when you first entered, making it so the player wasn't sure exactly what situation they'd face each time they started up the game. Interestingly enough though, unlike most randomly generated games at the time, they found a way to make the rooms persistent after the first entry. This kept the continuity of your generated maze the same throughout your entire playthrough. Alan McNeil was adamant on this, as he didn't want anything jarring for the players as they experienced the game, and having a room looking totally different if you went back to it would just do that, he felt like. In fact, how scary the game was is linked to a bit of an urban legend, primarily involving Evil Otto again, and Berzerk in general, linking it to some of the very first video game deaths. Almost all these have been disproven, but they still persist to this day, a lot like Polybius. The legend and the myth is just more fun than the reality of the situation, quite frankly. However, what do you guys think of Berzerk? How many of you have played it? Did you ever play the sequel, Frenzy? Let me know in the comments. For now though, thank you so much for watching and spending part of your day with me. If I could ask you for one more favor, please leave this video a like. And if you haven't, consider subscribing. It really helps me out. However, until next time, have a great rest of your day, and happy gaming.